Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and we are back with another recording session of Hearthstone. So last time I was recording, I think I was still a little sick. I'm still maybe a little sick. I got a watch and learn quest again, so let's open that pack. Honestly, the problem with watch and learn. Ooh, 2 goldens, interesting. The problem with this is I still don't have enough people. Just not enough people at all times. So I've ended up just playing from a second account and watching myself play, which isn't really in the spirit of the watch and learn quest, and it's not really helping me any learn anything. But it does get me a pack, and for that reason I will take it. See, are we up to 120, I guess? Let's see, can we craft anything with that 100 dust? That is the question at the moment. I suspect the answer is no, we can't. I'll disenchant this for 50 though. That'll get me to 170. Because we don't believe in keeping gold packs. I don't see a real reason. Here we go, Master Spell. I'll create that. That was a classic card I didn't have. And now I'm at 70, so I probably can't make anything else. I would seriously doubt that I could. Here's Siphon Spirit though. We'll disenchant this one for 100. So maybe I am getting to that level where as I unlock more and more cards, upgrade, why not? I will start seeing more gold versions of cards. If I started to open packs and I'm just consistently getting 2 gold cards, that will help the snowball roll down the hill, and maybe eventually I will be able to start being able to afford like legendary cards like this that are 1600 dust. If I open a pack and there's 15 of them, oh, I never even had this card before. Well, that is definitely a card I might consider in some decks. I've had my eye on the Molten Giant for a long time. It is the most expensive card by far, which that alone makes it useful in some combinations you might not realize, because there are cards that say draw a card and its cost does that much damage to the hero or something. So 20 damage to the hero is a massive amount there. So that's nice to get that card. I'll have to think about what particular deck I will play that in. Right now the particular deck I'm gonna play is Rogue. All I need to do is really get 5 game victories with the Rogue. Even if I get 2 with the Rogue, then I could skip down to playing both the Rogue and the Warrior, but right now, since I have 2 overlapping quests, that'll work, and then play 30 minions that cost 2 or less, which with the Rogue being a pirate deck right now will help. I don't think I'm gonna make it back up to 5,000 though by the time the next wing of League of Explorers comes out. Just doesn't seem like there will be enough time for that. I don't know how many episodes I'm gonna go here. I may only go 1 episode, I may only go 2. I'm not really feeling sick, but I do have Hitman Absolution that I'm trying to record. I am still very much in this lazy attitude, I would guess is the right way to describe it. Just kind of don't feel like working, and this I think is almost a constant issue with me in particular. When the winter months come about, when the sun stops shining bright, when it gets colder, when the heaters get turned on and then it gets too warm, all that seems to work together and push me towards just being a little bit more kicked back and relaxed.
What you got there?
And so, yeah, I'm working on Hitman Absolution. The story on Hitman Absolution is hurting it. It is definitely hurting it. I looked at the reboot of Hitman for like for what it comes out, and it looks like the reboot might be taking things more seriously, although I am not 100% sure that is actually the case. It might very well be the case that the story is going to be just as silly, and it is definitely hurting the game a little bit in Hitman Absolution. Otherwise, the game is fine. It's kind of like Deus Ex, but set in the present day with an assassin, and it's almost completely set in reality, although there are some things that stretch believability a little bit. And you have to just sneak around and find weapons and figure out ways to beat the level. And a lot of the levels, though, are really just escape and get from one point to the other sections. Which in Deus Ex Human Revolution, there was a ton of gameplay where you were supposed to only see if this works. Nope. There wasn't a lot of gameplay where you were supposed to just sneak by the people and not knock them out. It was either you knock them out or you... Let's see, how can I do this? This guy's gonna die no matter what. I can either leave this guy, or I can hit him in the head.
Here we go.
And I think I'll hit him like that. Like, particularly in Deus Ex, you snuck up behind the guy, and then you would do a non-lethal takedown or a lethal takedown. Really fast, really smooth action. In Hitman Absolution, you sneak up behind a guy. You can do a non-lethal takedown, but you have to tap X a lot, and then you have to tap X a lot more to do the non-lethal version. Otherwise, you hit the Y button and you snap their neck and finish from that point. So, I feel like in Hitman 2 you're gonna unlock techniques after the first time you play it that allows you to play each level a lot easier, unlike Deus Ex where there's really not a system like that. You can't go back to levels in Deus Ex. You can do a new game plus if you wish, but it's not going to that's not going to unlock any real abilities more than just the augments and the no access proxies or whatever they were called. It seems like there's a lot of similarity in the games, but maybe Hitman is the better concept of the game.
So
there's a lot less.
options.
There's no story or dialogue or interaction and talking to people in Hitman, though. You can talk to people, but it's not really an element. You don't choose conversations. Oops, forgot to hit the button there. And the levels are smaller, and it's not a big open sandbox. They'll give you very small sandbox areas, but not an actual large sandbox.
Get back, you scurvy
Here we
dogs.
go.
Job done.
One of the elements in Hitman Absolution is
Ready
that
your lance, cur.
a lot of the sections are full of people that will either run in fear and call the police or start shooting at you if you take out one guy. Whereas in Deus Ex, every character is very specifically placed to be hidden and far from view of the other characters, so you can methodically work through a building. In Deus Ex. In Hitman, you really couldn't, as far as I can tell. It seems like you could methodically work through some of it, but not everybody. I don't think there is a way to just take everybody out.
Try this.
You're not overpowered like Adam Jensen in Deus Ex either. You can get shot, you can lose. If you get into a firefight, you're probably gonna lose not because of the actual firefight, but just because of the fact that more police are gonna be on their way very soon.
Here we go.
And then by the time the SWAT shows up, you've lost. That is something that might change after the first playthrough though. You might be able to have some weapon with you at all times that would make you more bulletproof or perhaps less likely to take damage.
Here we go.
Job's done.
There is some, it seems like through the trailers, it seems like that you might actually be able to play and pre-plan. I'm noticing in Hitman Absolution there's definitely a lack of a planning stage that should be in there. You should be able to see a map of the area, you should know where the general area where the target's going to be, you should be able to plan, you should be able to potentially have certain weapons left in certain spots, and none of that is in the game, and it feels like it should be, to me at least, and I'm hoping that some of that might be in the new reboot. There are some other things that are kind of interesting as to how it's being described.
Here we go.
Let's see, am I gonna die?
Job's done.
I think I might die if he can. Let's see, 10, 13. Yeah, he has enough damage. I'm gonna lose.
Funnel cakes. Get your funnel cakes here. A fight.
Wow.
Count me.
What a ridiculous
Battle
move.
detected.
Everyone, get in here. Well played.
Want a deal?
Here we go.
Let's see, I guess I've lost now. I guess he just wanted
Job's done.
to take a safer route in his actions. Yeah, it seems like they're going to be one-time random enemies in each level, but the game is going to be, I think, a solo player except for the contracts mode. I don't see any way it would be multiplayer. It also said areas more unlocked, areas unlock over time, which is an interesting phrase for the single player experience, because it almost seems to indicate that they're planning for the game to only have one level, or a few levels at the beginning, and they mean over time we'll put DLC in it that have more areas. But they did in the trailer show
Versus
at
Jane.
least 6 or
You
7
asked for
distinct
it.
areas,
Watch your back.
and it would be a very terrible game if it really was the case that there was only 1 or 2 or 3 levels in the entire game to begin with. That would be like playing an early access game than an actual finished product. So, if you assume for a moment that it's not that they plan on releasing more of the game when they finish it via DLC, the next thought I can assume when they say something like that is that they mean as you are in a specific level, you will unlock areas if you stay in a specific area long enough.
Here we go.
There's no way to protect this guy and keep him alive, unfortunately. Which I think for a Hitman game is fine as a concept. If you stick around and walk around an area, the game might just get easier and easier, which is alright. That seems like a way that game can work well.
Here we go.
Let's go ahead and take this guy out. But yeah, I don't know what else. They haven't put enough information out, which is not surprising because as of this recording, it's late November and the game's not coming out until March. So no real surprise there.
X marks the spot.
So do I want to kill this guy and just...
No quarter.
If I kill this guy,
Here we
do
go.
this,
Job's done.
that'll leave him with a 1/1. I guess that works. Then they can attack and use this if they want to. The animation looks like it's a step above, but it still doesn't feel quite like a 2016 game should look. It seems a little low quality by my view.
Blood and plunder.
Go get that guy some stealth.
Here we go.
Job's done.
The Hitman, Agent 47 in the reboot, looks like a younger version of himself, but he still has the tattoo on the back of his head. It would be funny and cool if he rubbed that off at one point and it was just like a temporary tattoo type deal. Because it seems like such a ridiculous thing, just storyline wise, that this infamous Hitman, who people are going to be looking out for and aware of, eventually at least, is going to have this tattoo on the back of his head that completely gives away his existence.
Want a deal?
There we go. We'll do this and have 2 guys under stealth. Yeah, I think that works well. I don't think there's anything they can really do now to save themselves from this fight. It seems like
A second chance.
it's a little weird because Hitman Absolution ends with his handler in a very different position than the reboot is going to have his handler, because in the reboot his handler is still going to be his handler, and it may be spoilering something as far as how the story in the reboot's going to go. But I don't know. I think there might be a lot of different reasons why it would be a good idea if they didn't go the same storyline ways, because the Hitman himself going on his own, to kind of spoil it. I'm gonna try to stay from spoiler free. I don't know why I'm gonna try to stay spoiler free, but him getting away from his agency and going rogue isn't a really great storyline. He needs to kind of always be working for somebody, because as a hitman he's only really effective and useful as a hitman, and that means he needs to get contracts, he needs to have a list of people who he's gonna kill, and there doesn't really need to be a reason for it. Now that being said, it seems like the reboot is kind of, instead of the agency being a group that just kills the based on who bids the highest, it feels more like he's gonna get turned into some kind of secret James Bondish spy hitman that's killing people because they are actually doing something bad, and that so they might try to weave in some moral goals into it and say, well, all these guys you're killing are actually really bad, or at least that's what your handler is telling you, so maybe that's not true or not. I think for a series of games like that, you kind of have to go like that. Same as is true with the Assassin's Creed series of games. That
The pleasure is mine.
the Assassin's Creed games really would fall apart even more than they have if it turned out that they made one game where you just have a list of people and no information whatsoever about them or why you should assassinate them. I think giving a player motivation to do something is always a good idea. Let's see.
X marks the spot.
So yeah, I kind of like that idea. I think Hitman Absolution tries to do that too. They tried to put a story in there and give some motivation. I know that there was a Hitman game called Blood Money that will be in my Too Old series, almost certainly, where you literally are just given contracts and no real reason. Or rhyme, you just take them out because you're told to take them out. Let's see. I have to see if this works. Oh, nope. So I could kill this guy. I think I have to. It's gonna be a painful one. So he'll probably use his hero ability and just attack this guy. Or, better yet, he could do that and save himself damage. So mostly I think the reboot for the Hitman series is doing everything right. As far as I can see, it's just they haven't shown a lot. In a lot of ways too, I think that the Deus Ex Mankind Divided being pushed back was the right move. Even though it kind of sucks that they pushed it 6 months back, and that's ridiculous. They shouldn't be sliding 6 months on a game. Uh, that indicates that if it had gone out, it would have been a total nightmare of a game. Let's just go ahead and do this, and this,
Job done.
and end the turn. But I think that's the right move. I'd much rather them have a finished product that plays well and looks good and hopefully has some more elements in it.
Take a walk on the wild
One of the
side.
things with the Deus Ex Mankind Divided things is no real new abilities or improvements on the old abilities. I don't recall seeing any of that. Maybe I missed it, but
Get back, you savvy dog!
would have been really nice if they said, here's some new systems, here's a new hacking system, so it's not going to be the same game, or we improved the hacking game.
Snakes.
We're going to
It has to
always have the conversation mod on. There's a lot of little systems in Human Revolution that could have been expanded on and used more. Oddly, kind of like Fallout 4, except for in the opposite direction, because there was a lot of systems in Fallout 4 that are expansions on
Trust the pirate's code.
of the
Want a deal?
of Fallout 3, and yet they don't get mentioned. Well, I'm gonna lose again. Yeah, they a lot of things that, as far as just being an RPG, got improved upon and then didn't get mentioned. I can't help but feel like they want both the Elder Scrolls series and the Fallout series to become more popular titles in the sense that everybody plays them. Here we go.
It's a deal.
Scurvy dog.
Here we go.
So yeah, the main shooting mechanic seems in Fallout 4 to have been separated out. Now, I could be wrong about this, but I think in Fallout 3, the RPG elements of whether a shot hits or misses, what the percentage of that, all of that, I think was still running even if you didn't use the VATS technology in Fallout 3. I think all of those systems still work, whether you got a critical, whether you hit, whether you missed. I think all of that was being calculated in the background. I think that was in part probably why the engine in that is a little bit limited. Now the question is, if that's true in Fallout 3, I don't know if that's true in Fallout 4. It feels like, from what I've seen of other people playing Fallout 4, it feels like people, if they stay out of VATS, will just play that as a first-person shooter, and if the crosshairs are on a part of the body of the enemy will be hit. Let's see.
Hello.
Avast, matey.
The pleasure is mine.
And so if that whole element is out, then there's a decent chance that Fallout 5 won't have VATS in it at all, which is fine. I think Fallout 4 and 5 both have very good arguments that they should have gotten some major improvements to the menu system and the Pip-Boy. And so if they came out with Fallout 5 and they said, you don't get that model Pip-Boy, you get an experimental model that's been upgraded by somebody.
The Sunwell.
And at the end of the story, that software for the Pip-Boy gets dispersed across the world via satellite. That would be a fine story for a Bethesda game, since nobody really cares about the main stories anyways, and it would be a great justification so you don't have to end up playing the same thing over and over again with the same mechanics over again. Same is true for lockpicking, same is true for hacking. Upgrading the Pip-Boy probably could put you in a system where you could then have a great reason for the hacking minigame to change, and then the lock-picking minigame is the only thing that would be left. And the way you solve that is you just start showing combination locks in the game versus... do I want to do 2 damage to everybody? Or do I want to summon this?
X marks the spot.
There we go.
Cha-ching!
Here we go.
And you could also just have a different style of computer in Fallout 5 too. Half of them can be the old style of computer with the old style of hacking. The other half can be a new style of computer with a new style of hacking, and that's all that has to really happen to add more things. And there's nothing wrong with having 2 styles of lockpicking or similar issues.
Here we go.
See. One of the things I want to really know about Fallout 4, and that it would be really hard to prove this without playing the game, is I know of 2 children characters in Fallout 4 that I've seen. Otherwise, of all the other gameplay, I haven't seen any other kids. So maybe I've just been watching the wrong gameplay, or that's it. And the question is, in Skyrim, you couldn't hurt the kids. I'm pretty sure you couldn't, at least. And that's been the case for a long time. In Hitman Absolution, there's a level where they painstakingly eliminate
X marks the spot.
the kids from being inside of an orphanage. That way, there aren't a bunch of dead kids lying around, or the hitman, the main character, can't hurt them.
Go.
If you wanted to, I don't know why you would want to, because, but, so the question is, in 2015 with the newest Fallout 4, is that something that's alright? Now when I think about, like, Witcher 3, there were kids. Was I ever cruel enough to try and kill any of them? I don't know if I killed many non-playable characters at all in the game. Excuse me, but let's see, there was definitely a few, well, there was quite a lot of bandits I killed, so those were like non-playable characters that got killed. But otherwise, from that, there was not...
Here we go.
There wasn't a ton of other NPCs that you killed, so there weren't any main storylines where you killed a kid. Quite the opposite. In Witcher 3, there was a storyline where you unkill a kid, basically. So I don't think I ever targeted. I don't think I ever tried to, like, pull out my sword and hit a kid. I think they were all programmed pretty well to run away, and I guess that is a valid way to avoid that. It's just as soon as somebody pulls out a gun or a sword, everybody runs away. But I imagine most game creators still to this point would be totally on the side that they should just be made immortal, which is kind of story breaking, but fine.
I wonder.
Let's see.
Here we go.
Play this. And I could play this right now and kill him, which I think I need to. How long have we been going? 34 minutes. I guess this will be a fine place to end this episode. But I kind of feel like I need to say, don't get me wrong, I don't want to inherently kill kids in video games. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it would be realistic in a game where you can kill thousands of adults,
Want a
that
deal?
there be the same opportunity.
Here we
Much
go.
like how in Grand Theft Auto you really aren't forced into killing many characters at all, but most people's gameplay style of it is going to involve a lot more homicide than is actually necessary. And there's more realism is given to the story because you're given opportunities to do bad things as much as you are to do good things. I think you probably could get away with it. There might, however, be certain regions that would get in trouble with, or you wouldn't be able to release it. They wouldn't allow it
Here
in
we go.
maybe Germany or Australia. I don't think in general Europe would be totally against a game that like that. It depends on a lot of things too. And I'm talking like Witcher 3, Fallout 4 games where there are huge open world games. I don't think they would immediately get banned. Now, if there is a game that's just completely centered around and you must kill kids all the time, you probably would get banned in lots of places, perhaps even in the United States. Well, that's a funny thought to end on, but Hitman's Absolution, them bending over backwards to say all of the kids in an entire orphanage were on a field trip, was just so ridiculous. Again, the story writing in that game hurts it. Anyways, so we need to get one more rogue victory. I can then from that point start playing rogue and warrior, and I need to play 5 more minions that cost 2 or less. So that's pretty good progress. I'm glad this didn't get all done in one episode because I need to make more Hearthstone episodes anyways. So as always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment if you want to, and watch every second of my videos. All of that helps out. If you want to support me, you can click on my name, Rydo. On the right will be a blue button that says support this channel. Click it and make a donation. And if you want to friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.